All right, next up. My favorite card in the whole set. Absolutely, not set, but shown so far. I love this card. Captain Hook. Captain Hook costs only 1. He is a steel card. He has 1 attack, and he has 2 defense. So, base value, it's like, okay, like, eh. But, he has 4 traits. He is a Dreamborn Villain Pirate Captain. So, Pirate Captain, you know, those are 2 separate ones. He is a Pirate Captain, but they're separate. So, I would imagine we're going to see some pirate stuff, especially with Peter Pan being big, and we'll probably see some generic pirates. I would imagine they're probably going to be like allies. Like, I don't, like, was it Smee? I don't think Smee, oh gosh, is Smee going to be an ally? I don't know, because it's like, well, Olaf is an ally, and Olaf is in that movie quite a bit. I love Smee. Smee's really funny, but he's obviously going to be a pirate. There's other pirates, you know, like, are the Lost, I don't think the Lost Boys are going to be pirates. Are they technically pirates? I don't think so. Peter Pan, wasn't Peter Pan a pirate? I don't know. Regardless, I'm sure we'll see pirate support. Actually, I would imagine we might see pirate support in the first set, if there's going to be more piratey things. That's my guess. Of all the other tribal traits that are not hero or villain, I think we might see pirate, but that's wishful thinking. He is a villain, so he would fit into a Hades deck. So maybe a yellow in a steel deck, that might be a thing. I don't know, but that option is there. He has 1 ability. It's called Challenger. Oh, I'm sorry, Challenger +2. So, which means while challenging, this character gets +2 attack. So on your turn, when you're, you know, doing your challenge, you're challenging, this guy becomes a 3/2. He has a 3 attack, 2 defense. That's really, really good. That's really solid stats for like a 1 cost character. Sure, when it's your opponent's turn, he only has 2 defense. I mean, but he is able to tank a hit from, say, Cruella de Vil and Olaf. And those are just some characters we've seen so far. And there could be like more 1-cost characters that only have 1 attack. So they're not going to be able to take out Captain Hook. But I highly doubt there's going to be any characters that cost 1 resource that have more than 3 defense. So Captain Hook is going to be able to take out basically, I would have any character probably from 1 to 3 cost, because you have Elsa, who has 3 defense. Cruella de Vil has 3 defense. Elsa costs 3. Cruella de Vil costs 2. The new Aladdin he costs 2. He has 2 defense. He gets close. Heck, he can almost take out Robin Hood with his 4 defense. It's really close. You only need 1 more damage. So again, Robin Hood, at least, you know, maybe 5 out of 10, right? So regardless, Captain Hook obviously fits a sort of trope or trait, which is going to be some sort of aggro, aggressive rush deck. You're going to want to play him early, you know, maybe a couple copies even, and you're going to be attacking your opponent's characters. He only has 1 lore, so I don't think you're going to be sending him out on lore unless, like, say you go first, you drop Captain Hook, your opponent goes, they don't have a turn 1 play, so they don't play a character. So on your turn, you're like, okay, well, I have nothing to attack. I guess I'll just go on a lore quest and get some lore. Okay, that's cool. But, I mean, early game, you're going to be using your Hook, your Captain Hook, to be taking out your opponent's characters. He's basically like a removal card for early game characters. He can probably take out 2 characters if you're planning appropriately. At least 2. Not at least 2, definitely 2, no more than 2, but at least 1 character he could just trade, and he could trade into something that's higher costed than him. He can take out an Elsa, you know, that's a good trade. That's a trade I'll take. I'll trade a Captain Hook, my 1-cost card, for a 3-cost Elsa. Yeah, I'll do that trade every day. So, but he does kind of fit into that kind of rushy area, but he's a fantastic early game drop. I love him. I think he's just a great card. I love his art, and I think he's good. I think he's a good card. I'm gonna say he's a solid 7 out of 10, possibly an 8 out of 10 early game if we understand how challenging and being challenged and stuff works. I would comfortably call him an 8 out of 10. And if you have pirate support or villain support, that could maybe enhance his stats even later on, even better. I think the card's great. I'd run 4 copies in an aggro deck 100%. 100% great card. I think he's just absolutely, I think he's great. Like right now, I have plans to make a red steel deck. Maybe red green because of Aladdin. I'm not sure, but Mulan is just so good. Mulan is just amazing, but it depends on what other green cards there are and what other steel cards there are, because it depends on if I want to use Aladdin or Captain Hook. But anyway, let's move on. We got a couple cards left. Next up, we're going to be talking about Magic Mirror, our first and only item we've seen so far. Magic Mirror is a purple card. It has 2 costs. It costs 2, which is, you know, that's pretty cheap. And its ability is called Speak. And you can exert it and then pay 4 resources and you can draw a card. And it's like, is this good? And it's hard. We don't know. This one's I think this is probably one of the worst ones to really rank, because 4 is a lot. If you put 2 resources in on a turn in the Bleach trading card game, you could put up to 2 of your resources, from your side deck into play, or you could draw a card in place of, you know, putting a resource in. If you can put 2 resources per turn, then on your first turn you could put 2 resources and play Magic Mirror if you don't have anything else to do. Now on your second turn, put 2 more resources in, and then exert Magic Mirror, and then pay 4 resources and draw a card. You probably would have drawn then 3 cards at that point. Your first card for your first turn, your second card on your second turn, and then the third card from this ability. So not bad, but 4 resources is quite a bit. That's a respectable amount of resources to just draw a single card. Now, if it was draw 2 cards, okay, now we're talking. That's pretty good. I'll spend 4 resources to draw 2 cards, especially if I have nothing to spend my resources on. And I think that's the big thing. I think it's the big thing to consider is, am I always going to be using my resources? Will I have 4 resources? And I think in the early game, I think for probably the first 3, 4, maybe 5 turns, you're going to be playing cards and you're going to have stuff to play. But if you don't have any dedicated draw, then you're going to run out of cards and you're not going to have anything to play. So in that case, I think Magic Mirror is a good like mid-game card where I can dump a few resources if I have a strong board and just get a card. And if I'm able to do that a couple times, it does pay for itself. I think it's an okay card. I don't think we know enough right now to really give it a proper rating. I'm going to call it a 5 out of 10. I think it's okay. I think if you don't have any draw on purple, it's going to be a little better. But if you find yourself with more resources than you know what to do with, and that's just something in general, I think it's going to be a little better, because I'd pay 4 resources to draw a card just for the heck of it. If I have nothing else to do, absolutely. Yep, I mean, if I have nothing to do on my turn, then there's really, I would spend almost any resource. You know, I'd spend all my resources to draw a card. That's fine. You could play, I like to play this fun game with my family. It's called Here to Slay. It's a really fun, like, card game. And you also use dice. You use these dice to roll. But on your turn, you have 3 points. And you can either play a card, you can play a card from your hand, use a character ability, or you can draw a card if you want. If you have nothing else to do, using a point to draw a card is totally worth it. You only have 2 points left, and I could spend all 3 of my points to draw 3 cards, or I could ditch my whole hand to draw 5 cards, but it gives me something to do. I know I have at least something. So yeah, having this in play knows, okay, even though I have nothing to do with my resources, I can at least draw a card. So it's all right. It's you know, it's like Robin Hood, but without the stats. It's okay. It's a card. Sure. 5 out of 10. All right, next up, let's talk about Healing Glow. Healing Glow. Is there, I guess it's our other action card. I think I called Dragonfire our only card. Oh, I was wrong about that. That's what you get for not writing a script. So, Healing Glow only costs 1 resource. It's a yellow action card, and it simply says, remove up to 2 damage from chosen character. So it's basically like Potion, from the original, from Pokemon, from like the Pokemon base set. They had Potion. It just said remove 2 damage from one of your characters. You know, was Potion good? There was Super Potion. Why would I play Potion to heal 20 when I could play Super Potion and heal 60? Now, yes, you're thinking, but for Super Potion, you have to discard an energy card from your Pokemon. Like, okay, that's a fair trade. Would I rather play 3 potions to heal for 60 or just discard an energy card and heal, you know, and then heal for 60 with 1 card? And it's just, you know, why play Potion? Unless you're playing some weird heal deck, you know, which was the thing. There was Chansey. Chansey was a high hit point Pokemon, and you had Alakazam. You could move all your damage off of any Pokemon onto Chansey, and then you play Super Potion, or you would play Pokemon Center and just remove all the damage. So unless you can knock a Pokemon out in 1 hit, you're not knocking a Pokemon out. So okay, too much Pokemon. How does this relate to this card? I feel like this card is very similar to Potion. Was Potion a bad card? No, it's not a bad card. Were there better cards? Yeah, you know, it's like in the Pokemon base set, they had a card called Bill. Bill said, draw 2 cards. That was it. You just drew 2 cards. You play Bill, boom, 2 more cards. Or I could play Professor Oak. Now, sure, Professor Oak said discard your hand, but then it said draw 7 cards. Why would I draw 2 cards when I could play 7? You know, obviously if I need cards, then what I have in my hand's probably not going to do it. Give me 7 new cards, right? Let's do that. So with that being said, there's probably going to be a card that's just a better version of Healing Glow. Maybe there's a card that heals for 6 damage, or maybe not 6 damage, that's quite a bit, but maybe it heals for 4 damage, but you have to exert the character. And it's like, okay, I'll take that trade knowing my character is going to survive. That's a much better trade than spending a resource and healing for 2. And I think, you know, again, you're going to be wanting to trade. Like, what's the difference if my Cruella de Vil, which has like 3 defense, or basically like 3 health, if they take a hit for 2 and they have 1 hit point left, you know, if I remove the 2 hit points, are they going to survive another hit? You know, maybe. Depends what's on the board. They might. I don't know. I just don't think this card is like that good. Unless it combos with other cards. Unless there's a character that says whenever you know, remove damage from a character, remove 1 more. Or something like that. Or, you know, maybe your action cards cost 1 less resource. Okay, I'll heal a character for free. Maybe that's fine, I guess. I just think it's an okay card. Like, I don't see myself playing it in a slugfest. I mean, if I have high defense characters, or essentially characters with high hit points, yeah, I could probably play this card. Keep them alive longer, tank more hits. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll do that, but I don't know. I just don't think it's that good. It's a 5 out of 10. It's okay. I think if there's decks that can use it, it'll be like a 6 out of 10, but it's going to get outclassed by a lot of other cards really quickly. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's just going to be a different healing card that's just better. 5 out of 10, it's okay. It's okay. I'm not impressed. I don't usually heal in games or whatever. It's alright. Alright, a couple more. We got like 4 cards left, I think. Next up, I want to talk about Aladdin, who's one of the newest cards that have been shown, the one, you know, the last 3. Aladdin costs 2 resources. He is a green card. He has 2 attack and 2 defense. So solid. He's like a bear, like a, you know, a grizzly bear from Magic the Gathering. He's just 2 for a 2/2, right? But he is a Storyborn Hero Prince, so he does have that hero trait, which again, I'm sure there'll be support for. And his ability is called Ward. It's not really called Ward, he just has Ward. So the same thing that Aurora has, but it's just on him. And again, it says opponents can't choose this character except to challenge. I actually really like Aladdin, and especially in some sort of aggressive, you know, deck, because it forces your characters to challenge him. And what I'm hoping for is that you're able to have, or we're able to have, items that enhance your characters. If that's the case, I would play an Aladdin deck, this green Aladdin, with items that like boost his attack, you know, boost his defense, and make it so your opponent like has to challenge him to even attempt to take him out. They can't use spells on him. They can't use action cards. They can't use Maleficent. They can't target him with Cruella de Vil. There's nothing they can do except for challenge. And if you boost him up, he could just be a monster. He could just tear through your opponent's, your opponent's characters. We don't know how much lore he has. I don't really see it here on this card. So he could be, it's probably only one. But knowing that I could either just mess with my opponent's characters or just keep gaining lore without them touching me, that's pretty good. I really like it. He's definitely a very solid, a very good early drop. I think he'll stick around for a few turns. He's definitely going to earn you some lore. So I'm going to say he's probably about a 6 out of 10. Flirting with 7. If there are items and like equipment that you can attach to your characters to boost them, I would say he's probably about an 8 out of 10 because of his cost and what he can do, because it forces your opponents to challenge him. And heck, even if you just boost his defense like by 2 points or whatever, he's going to take out a couple of characters before he gets taken down. So I really like it. I really like this idea that there could be some sort of equipment item deck built around this green Aladdin, and your opponent just has to deal with it. I think Ward's going to be a really good ability, and it's going to be really annoying to deal with, especially during the first set. We do see that there is an Aladdin card, a red Aladdin card from one of the starter deck pictures. We don't know what it does, but it's probably safe to assume that he's going to be a shifted card. Maybe because this Aladdin costs so little, this red one's going to cost a little more. If that's the case, I would be down for playing a red and green deck that's very fast and tries to win quickly. And I can play cards like Cruella de Vil. I could play this Aladdin. I can play that new Aladdin if he doesn't cost too much. I can play Mulan. I can play Dragonfire. And for like if I need like a late game, like I need to close the game out, I could play Maleficent. So that's what I'm mostly aiming for. I mean, if the other green cards like are good, or I mean, if steel is just better, then I'm gonna go with steel instead of green. But like I said, I think this is good. Green's up there. I really like this Aladdin. Solid, 6.5 out of 10. If there's item support, at least a 7 out of 10, maybe 8. That's my guess. So we'll say 6.5 out of 10. All right, next up, we're gonna talk about Scar. Scar is a 6 cost card. He costs 6. He is a blue card. He has 5 attack and 4 defense. So it's a little different stats than what we've seen. Where maybe the attack is higher than the defense. I mean, only Maleficent, I think, is the only other character we've seen so far where the attack is higher than the defense. I'm doing a quick double check as I look through, and yeah, that seems, Maleficent, Maleficent and Scar. He is a Storyborn villain, so again, we have that villain support, and he has one ability. It's called Insidious Plot, and it says, when you play this character, chosen opposing character gets -5 attack this turn. Now, how does this work? So, I'm assuming that characters are going to have a sort of summoning sickness. And the reason why I think this is because of your first turn. I think that if you didn't have summoning sickness, you could drop a turn 1 card like Captain Hook and immediately send him out and gain some lore, and you're already ahead of your opponent. The only other stipulation would be if there isn't summoning sickness, would be on your first turn, you cannot send a character out to get lore. And then, okay, in that case, then yes, I could see there, being summoning sickness. Or there's not summoning sickness, I'm sorry. I'm going to say my personal opinion that there is a summoning sickness, because otherwise, I could drop like Elsa and be like, hey, I'm going to drop Elsa and I'm going to tap her. I'm going to exert her immediately to lock down one of your cards, and I'm going to attack. And it's like, it's just quick. They come out quick. My opponent has no chance to deal with it. That's why I like the summoning sickness. So my guess is you would play Scar, and you would need to have characters in play to really benefit Scar. When you play him, you're going to target your opponent's character that has a lot of attack, or maybe not even a lot of attack, just 5 or less attack. 5 is a lot. And then you can challenge them with your other characters and take them out while not receiving any damage in return. That is how I guess that's going to work. I don't think that Scar is going to want to be played and then attack in the turn he's played. I mean, I think that goes against Scar's nature. I mean, if you want to go like more deeper into the lore, I don't think he'd do that anyway. He definitely would use like hyenas. He's more sneaky. So that's why I think he's like distracting them, and then your other people take them out. So that's my guess. So that's why I don't think there's summoning sickness. But regardless, is this a good ability? I think it's pretty good. I think it provides some pseudo blue removal. So if you're playing a blue deck, and if you are trying to be more defensive, you know, if there is like a Aurora blue deck that plays like high cost characters, you could drop your Scar and lower the attack of, say, your opponent's Maleficent, right? Say that's the thing. So now your Maleficent only has 2 attack. Well, send your characters into Maleficent, take her out, and your characters are probably going to survive and stick around, you know, to help, you know, close out the game on your next turn or something. But Scar is situational. You'd have to play Scar during a turn where you can attack with your other characters to get the most use out of it. If there is summoning sickness. If there's not summoning sickness, yeah, Scar's pretty good. I mean, Scar's really good. Scar is removal on a body. That could be better than Maleficent. Like, why would I play Maleficent when I could just play Scar? Scar could come down, minus somebody's attack for 5, and then immediately attack into them, and then they're gone, and I have my body on the field. But if there's summoning sickness, I can play him down, and I don't have to attack right away with him. Yes, I have to use my other characters, but I need to have other characters to use. Or I could just drop Maleficent. I don't need other characters. Maleficent just targets something and they're gone. So I think that's a trade-off, and that's why I don't think there's summoning sickness. Otherwise, I could just play Scars all day. I'll just play, you know, if you can have multiple Scars in turn, you can't play a character because I'm just going to use my Scar and I'm going to attack you with the Scar. You're not going to be doing any damage in return. And now you've lost a character, and I got Scar plus however much lore he has. He probably has like 2 lore, I'm guessing. So that's, you know, that's why I, you know, say summoning sickness. But overall though, like, what's his ranking? Is he a good card? Yes, I do think I think he's a good card. I think he's at least a 6 out of 10. I would, you know, play him in a deck. Again, we don't really know how challenging works. He'd be pretty broken. He would be a broken card if there's no summoning sickness. I would put him at like a 9 out of 10 or something if there is no summoning sickness. I would probably play if there's no summoning sickness. If I'm able to play a character and then attack with him immediately, I would play a blue deck with Scar, like 100% immediately. I would just do that. You could play a blue-red deck and just play all like Maleficents and Scars and Dragonfires and just play all the removal. It doesn't matter. Like, it's like, okay, well, I have all these resources. I'm just going to delete your board. And then you have no response. And at least with summoning sickness, you can deal with the Scar body. You know, at least, you know, Scar is a 5/4. You know, at least you're able to attack into it or something. So that's, you know, 6 out of 10 if there's summoning sickness, 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 broken if there isn't. All right, that's it. That's all I got for Scar. All right, next up is the Wardrobe, another ally. Wardrobe costs 3. She's a purple card. She has 3 attack and 4 defense. She has no other abilities, again, but she's an ally. I don't think she has lore. I know it's not really shown, but I'm gonna assume she doesn't have lore because her stats are really good, but she's an ally. Allies are not the focus of like the Disney movies. Like, they're not the stars of the show. They help support. Is Olaf like a really funny character? Absolutely. Olaf in Frozen, yeah, he's like my favorite character. Him and is it Kristoff? I think I like Kristoff. I know Kristoff is like more of a main character, but him and Sven, they're funny. But you know, my kids grew up with Frozen. I watched a lot of Frozen. But Olaf and the Wardrobe they don't really do a lot. They're just there to kind of support, right? So they don't need to get that lore. They're not going on these quests. They're just there to protect and support your other characters. And that's why I think they have really good defense. And again, tying into why I also think that your characters can intercept challenges made against your other characters. I think allies can be used to block attacks made by your opponents that target your characters. So, I could have Olaf in play alongside my Elsa. I could exert my Elsa, lock down a character, leave my, Olaf unexerted. On my opponent's turn, they can attack my Elsa. I'm going to throw my Olaf in front of that. And that's why I think that they have such high defense for their cost, is because that's what they do. They just help protect. So I don't think allies... I think allies just going to be a trait. It's kind of like a token from Magic the Gathering, where they're there, but they're not. They have no other real abilities. They just are there as vanilla creatures. Jumba is a vanilla creature, but vanilla has lore. Or Jumba has lore. He's, which I don't know if how major he is in the movie. So I could be completely wrong. If he is more of a background character or something, I don't know. I have no idea. But it's like, would you say that Jumba is more important to that story than say Olaf or the wardrobe? Because if you say he isn't, then I could be wrong, and I have no problem saying I'm absolutely wrong. We just don't know what the allies' lore costs. But if Jumba is a bit more important and he has lore, then I'm going to say, yeah, these allies don't have lore. With that being said, though, I mean, the wardrobe has really good stats. 3 for a 3/4. I'd play that on my third turn if you get one resource a turn. I play that every time. This is really good. This is really good stats. Sure, she doesn't do anything, but if I'm playing an aggressive deck, or if I need to have a character in play to protect my Elsa because she is purple and she has the same color as my Elsa, then yeah, absolutely. This is great. I'm doing that. I'm having this character in play. Good luck attacking my more combo characters. Combo focus. So I'm gonna have a little bit of offense with my more controlly defense. So overall, like, would I rate this? I think she's really good. I think she's gonna see play in probably every purple deck because of her cost and stuff. Like I would say it's like, I almost want to say like 7. I would probably say 7, a solid 7 out of 10. Her stats are really good. And if she does have lore, if she has like 1 lore, even better. But I mean, regardless of probably how anything goes down, I'm like, if I'm playing purple, if I'm playing a purple color, I'm going to be wanting to play the wardrobe because the stats are really good. Yes, she does have the same cost as Elsa, so it's like, do I want to play Elsa or the wardrobe on the same turn? But depends what you're going for. But I think she's really good. I think the stats are great. And I think she's going to be used for protection. So I'm going to say 7, 7 out of 10. I would play her. I would play this card right now. I think she will be outclassed in the future, for sure. There could be another 3 cost with similar stats but has an ability. Yeah, absolutely. Play that card instead. But for the first set, yeah, play the wardrobe. Really good. And then finally, I'm not sure why I skipped him. I think I started at a weird place. But let's go ahead and talk about Mickey Mouse for the brave little tailor. Mickey Mouse, the final card here, he costs 8 resources. He's a red card. He has 5 attack and 5 defense. He is a Dreamborn hero, so once again, he has that hero trait. He has 1 ability, as I had mentioned before. He just has evasive. And again, that means only characters with evasive can challenge his character. What makes him pretty good is he has 4 lore. That's a lot. 4 is a lot. The only closest one we have so far is Stitch with his 3. I don't think any other characters have 3 lore that we know of, except for those 2. But you could say Hades could have 3 lore with villains in play. But regardless, is Mickey Mouse good? I think he's a solid card. He does have the magical 5 defense and 5 attack, so he can take out opposing 5s like Mulan. He can take out Mulan and survive the hit back. He can take out Robin Hood and survive, take out Stitch and survive. He could trade with Maleficent, who costs 1 more than he does. Stat-wise, as a bruiser, that's really good, but I don't think he's going to be played that way. I think if you're playing Mickey Mouse, brave little tailor, you're going to be sending him on quests to get lore, because that's 4 lore. That's a lot. And with an evasive body, he's going to be extremely difficult to target. You're going to need some sort of direct removal or an opposing Mickey Mouse of your own to take him out. Or you're going to have to throw a couple of your characters with evasive at him, or use a Robin Hood with another evasive character, or 2 Robin Hoods. If you use 2 Robin Hoods, this Mickey Mouse is going to take out both of them. So that's pretty good. I mean, he does cost a lot, but I think when he hits the board, your opponent needs to deal with it or they're going to lose. That's how I think. I think just a turn or 2 of him in play, you know, you're able to go on a quest, you get 8 lore, it's over. The game's over. So yeah, he's definitely taking a couple characters down with him, unless it's like another beefy character. So I think he's really good. I think the only thing that holds him back is his cost, but I think that's almost a fair trade for his 4 lore. I'm really hoping that maybe there's like a hero trait that or a character that lowers the cost of your hero cards, or a landmark or something. That would be nice. I'm gonna say that he is right now, based off set 1, based off everything, a 7 out of 10. I don't think that's going to go up or down too much. It depends how resources work. If it doesn't take that long to get to 8 resources, he might be a little better. If you're able to get him out early, like if there's some way, like maybe if one of your lower cost characters is banished, you can put a character from your hand into play. If that's the case, oh, this guy's good. Not broken, just really good. He's just very difficult to take care of, you know, to take down. So, and you can play him in a red deck with like Mulan as like a secondary finisher, because you can have him in play, your Mulan in play, and then a bunch of smaller guys in play. So now your opponent's like, crap, I need to take care of this Mickey Mouse and this Mulan, or like it's over for me. Like you could win probably on that turn. So, well, if there's summoning sickness, you can't, but you know what I mean. I think he's good. Solid 7 out of 10. That's my thing. He's great stats. And the 4 lore on an evasive body is going to be a headache to deal with. He's going to need direct removal by like Maleficent or Dragonfire, or be teamed up on by several evasive characters. So that's my ranking. You know, again, 7 out of 10. So my goodness, I've been rambling for a while. This has been quite the video. I wasn't expecting to go this long. It's nice to actually make a video to share my thoughts. If you made it this far through the video, so I appreciate you. Thank you for listening to me ramble. It's nice to talk about this stuff. I do talk about this game with my family, but I can't really talk about the more in-depth areas, you know, like I can here with them yet. I do have a plan to try to introduce them to the game. I think they'll really love it. My kids are definitely older, not too old. I have a 14-year-old who grew up with Frozen. And then I have a 9-year-old. We have seen Frozen and stuff too. I will admit, and this might be a surprise, we're not like a huge Disney family. I actually am not like the biggest Disney fan, which might seem like a big shock. You might be like, oh my gosh. And that just shows like how cool of a game I think this is. I think the art's really great. I do really like Magic the Gathering, but I like the more cartoony aspect of Disney or Lorcana, and that's what really drew me to it. It seems a bit more simple. I like a lot of the characters. I mean, I did grow up with movies like The Jungle Book. You know, I watched a lot of The Jungle Book on VHS. You know, I'm in my mid-30s. You know, I have kids, but yeah, I'm mid-30s. You know, we didn't have a Disney home, but I had Disney movies. I watched The Lion King several times. You know, I watched my Jungle Book. I'm really hoping for Jungle Book cards because they just really mean a lot to me. Because again, that's just something that's my most memorable movie. So, but you know, with all that being said, I just love all the mechanics of this game. I love that we don't know the mechanics essentially. I love the speculation. I love, you know, the simpleness that we do see, but also it's like, oh, what if it does this? What if we play like this? There's so many people that come from different card game backgrounds just offering their opinions and speculations, and I love it. I love hearing what everybody has to say, you know, about the cards, how it works, how it might not work. It's just great, you know. It's just nice. I do think the game is going to have a really good start, you know, so I'm not worried about, say, investing into the game. It's definitely going to have several sets. The Bleach trading card game, and this is something I mention all the time, it's one of my favorite games. The Bleach anime is like my favorite anime. I absolutely loved it. Well, I guess love it. It's still going. They have a new thing going on. But anyway, the Bleach trading card game only lasted 6 sets. It lasted like a year and a half. It didn't have that big of a gathering. The first, you know, couple sets, you know, maybe 2 sets or so were huge. I went to the tournaments. We had a lot of people there. I also went to the last tournament. So they were held at Origins Game Fair down in Columbus, Ohio. I am from Ohio, so I usually go there to play big card games, or I used to. They don't, you know, I used to play Pokemon down there quite a bit, but I don't do that too much anymore. Actually, I don't do that at all anymore. But with Lorcana, I plan to. But when I played Bleach, you know, I'd go down there. But when I did the last tournament they had, which is a year after, and they only had like 1 more set come out, there really wasn't that many people there. I think there was like 30 people. And this is like a big major tournament. And it just, you know, it just died. Like, they didn't even release the final set. They had it like ready to be printed, and they just didn't print it. There just wasn't the demand for it. So I think that this game is going to last a lot longer than that because of the fan base. And I do think it's similar to a lot of other card games, especially Magic. Magic is huge, and I don't think there's anything wrong with taking inspiration from games like Magic the Gathering, because what, you know, the saying goes, imitation is the highest form of flattery. So if, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I think that's what they say. So it's okay to take a couple things. I mean, being innovative, yeah, absolutely, that's gonna be great. But taking stuff that we know works, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. So yeah, that's what, you know, that's all that stuff has drawn me to the game. You know, I'm excited to see where it goes. I'm excited to try to be a part of the community. I definitely want to be a player, but I have no problems being like a, what are they, like a caster, you know, where the guys sit and talk about the plays and stuff. They're like, oh, it looks like the play they made, and I haven't seen this play since 1973, you know, down in the Hong Kong, you know, state regional, you know, whatever. Stuff like that would be really funny, but we'll see. But anyway, that's enough. I think I, you know, talked a lot. It's nice to get to, you know, get all this stuff out. And again, if you made it this far and you're like, yeah, this guy's all right, I appreciate you. You're an all right dude. Thanks for staying for this nearly 2-hour video. I'm gonna trim it down, but almost 2 hours of recording. So, all right, that's it. I hope to see more cards this week. I mean, I don't think I'll do this again. I don't know. I just, you know, I'm not sure what my next video will be about, but it's gonna be about something. It's gonna be about something. I'm just completely random. I make random stuff. So, hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Stay safe out there. Make good decisions. And I will see you in the next one. Okay, bye.